Movies based on true stories have an obligation to adhere to the truth. But what is that, anyway? Does knowing you are watching a documentary predispose you to believe what you are seeing? People turn to documentaries to learn about the world because documentary footage is supposed to be free from manipulation. It should show the unvarnished truth. But those rules can be rewritten.
It's hard to believe that people really believe it, but they do. That if you use available light and you use a handheld camera and you don't move anything into or out of the frame, the truth will emerge.
In the case of Errol Morris's The Thin Blue Line, a documentary is heavily manipulated to look and sound like a Hollywood thriller. But it's also what Morris withholds from us that critics have found dishonest. None of the interviewees are identified until the end, and the camera work is so self-conscious and carefully composed, there's never any sense of the natural world right outside the frame. Documentary advocates were uncomfortable with how scripted everything was. At that time, these were cardinal rules Morris was breaking as a documentary filmmaker.
This is not the way to do it. This is not the way that it should be done.
While the documentary tradition at the time was to reveal, using fly-on-the-wall photography and available light, Morris pioneered the contemporary nonfiction trope to conceal, through scripted reenactments and stylized photography. The form of the documentary would be forever changed, and his cameraman would go on to shoot some of the most stylized fictional films of the decade.
I am Catwoman.
True crime documentaries were changed forever by Morris's film. But what are the obligations to the facts when making a documentary? To get to the artistic truth, you must discard the facts.
I never did this.
Who is the rogue who inspired Errol Morris? Perhaps you'll recognize his voice.
Errol has set a good example. He's a landmark now, and I'm very proud for it. I'm proud for him, and I'm proud for me that I pushed him a little bit into this.
I was a member of Werner Herzog's Rogue Film School seminar in New Jersey. He had us watch The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, and he lectured to us about the importance of being gutsy with our filmmaking. He also revealed that he paid actors to pretend certain actions in his documentaries. In Bells from the Deep, he paid drunken Siberian villagers to stare into the depths of a frozen lake at a mythical religious city underwater. The drunk man fell asleep on the ice, which resulted in the viewers of the film thinking him to be the most devout believer of the group and one of the truly Russian figures on screen. For Lessons of Darkness, Herzog uses documentary footage of oil fires in Kuwait with music and totally recontextualizes the meaning of the very real devastation from the Gulf War in 1991. That idea of adjusting the context of the truth in order to make a point is something you see in documentaries a lot more since then.
There are deeper strata of truth in cinema, and there is such a thing as poetic, ecstatic truth. It is mysterious and elusive and can be reached only through fabrication and imagination and stylization.
So while it's a fact that Herzog has paid people to act in his documentaries, he is doing it to attain, in his eyes, a larger truth. A truth bigger than a simple transcript of just what happened. But this places a lot of importance on himself as the creator, the arbiter of the truth.
And I know I can do it to a certain degree.
Now there are little arbiters of the truth everywhere you look. And if you disagree with their version, you're free to make your own. In the next episode of I'll Believe It When I See It, I ask you to consider film's inherent potential for misogyny.